I felt what it felt like to suffer at such a deep emotional level, and it was excruciating. It was really excruciating. And so the intention for the teacher was for us to really come out of the other end of the experience quite integrated. And so we started to ramp down the spiritual practice in the last few weeks, started to get more involved in the world, less reclusive, and started the integration process. And it was kind of suggested that we'd integrate faster than if we didn't do that. However, I kind of thought that I'd be able to function pretty well after a couple of weeks. And I mean, I could still do everything. I could drive, I could talk, so that nothing like that was a problem. But my nervous system, the upgrade, so to speak, from doing so much deep emotional work, like without exaggerating, I would say it was probably 4 years worth of emotional work and spiritual evolution. I say 4 years. Yeah, I'm just going to say around 4 years worth in 3 months. So you can imagine, because you listening to this, I know you're on the spiritual journey. I'm just going to pause this recording because the doorbell's ringing, and I'll come back and I'll resume. So I just answered the door because I knew that some juices were being delivered for a cleanse that I'm doing over the next 3 days with Shana. And I ended up getting in a 10 to 15 minute chat with the delivery driver about religion and shadow work, which was awesome. But now I'm back. Now, as I was saying, you guys will know what happens if you spend a bunch of time at a workshop or a retreat, or you double down on a little chapter of inner work. There's integration that's required off the back end. And sometimes it gets more painful before it improves. Kind of like if you're renovating a house, the end product is going to be significantly better than the product that you started with. But if you looked halfway through, there's going to be walls missing. There's going to be plaster everywhere. There's going to be paint everywhere. There's going to be rubbish everywhere. And if you looked at it at that point, you'd be like, hang on a second, I had a fully functioning house before, and now my place looks like a tip. You'd be defeating the purpose and missing the point of the renovation. And that's what happens when we are on the spiritual journey. And so now, 6 weeks down the line, I'm very much still integrating this process, but I've been able to cash in on a bunch of time that I've been very graceful with myself, spent a lot of time resting off the back end of what was an intense experience. You'd think meditating for 3 months is meant to make you relaxed. Not really. When we're teaching meditation, it's advised that we don't allow people to meditate for more than 2 20-minute meditations a day, because when you have that space, it creates a vortex, and it sucks in the resistance and challenge and pain and trauma to be alchemized. And also things in your life that are no longer relevant, that need to be shifted. And if you do too much at once, you've got a lot of pain. You're going to navigate it once, and too much too soon, it actually allows can make things be net slower in growth. And that's why the quote, slow is smooth and smooth is fast, is very relevant to trauma work. People are always in a rush to try to get the upgrade. I want to heal all my trauma, do some big breath work. I'm going to do heaps of plant medicine because I just want to shed all these layers. They need to be shed. They need to be worked with and then alchemized, integrated. That takes time. And if you try to do it too fast, it'll actually take you longer. Kind of like the tortoise and the hare analogy. Anyway, if you are on the spiritual path, my message to you right now is that you are in such a beautiful place. And you may not necessarily be able to see, comprehend, and really understand the magnitude of the work that you're doing inside, because the inner work functions differently to any other area of life and how all of society functions.